You're watching the Tesla Life, live with your host, Mark Codland.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 419. I guess it's the 9th. Yeah, the 9th of July 2025, and deep into the summer we go. So welcome, everyone. Thanks for being with us. With me, as always, my co-hosts, we have Mr. Keith Green joining us from an undisclosed location in the Mid-Atlantic. How are you today, sir?
Doing all right. I got the angry servers here, so if anybody hears them, let me know and I can hit some buttons. And then it wasn't too hot today, mainly because we had rain and thunderstorms, but not too bad.
One question, Casey. Why do you buy angry servers and not the friendly servers?
They were friendly until I asked them to do stuff. Like we were retired, 4 years ago, man. What's this work and processing?
They were looking to be let out into pasture, and you're just beating on them, telling them to keep working.
That's right. Retire another 4 years.
Also with us, as normal, Mr. Patrick Connor from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. It's been hot here. We had a VPP event yesterday, so the local utility drained our power walls and paid us for it, which is nice. It's always good to have a negative electricity bill. And with the weather, of course, I have to wait until it's really hot and then work outside. So yet another project. And using the Model Y to haul the stuff, we had 2 big plywood sheets strapped up on the roof rack. And I mentioned you can fit 8-foot boards in there. Well, I found out you can fit 10 feet in there if you angle them down into the footwell of the passenger side. So you can get those 10-footers in too if you try real hard.
You can fit 12-footers in, but you really have to bend the board.
And your back glass might have a hole in it when you're done.
Yeah, that might be a problem too. So keep that in mind, people. Don't try the 12-foot unless you're extremely experienced.
A little red flag and some tie-down rope.
That's right.
Yep.
That'll help you. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We got Mr. Lee Moon has joined us in the chat first. How you doing, Lee? How's that new Model Y treating you? We've got a bunch of stories to talk about today, which of course is nothing new here in the Tesla Life. But kind of excited about our first story. And shout out to Patrick, who spotted this first on X and alerted me about this. And this, of course, is with the Tesla Diner has come out with some actual photos from an X account, Harry, which gets the credit for the photos. And I think we will just try to share those right now. Here we go. Boom. And night shots happening.
Mm-hmm. When I saw those, I was like, "Oh, Mark's gonna want to see that." I knew it.
Like very diner-ness, like very much a diner. Like you can just tell by the look of it, and the font they're using is that diner font as well. And what does not look like a diner to me, just from the outside shot here, is the circle door. And the circle, or I guess they're not circle windows, but they're pill-shaped windows. Yeah. But again, very unique look when you're seeing this at night. I love the red stripe, and of course, you can see the soft lighting on the roof, which of course is an open-top roof with seating around the circle.
Oh yeah.
And
it's interesting how they're going for like a retro future style, right?
Exactly.
So it's just like from the 50s, but it's what they thought the future would look like when it was the 50s.
Exactly. So they're kind of meshing the two into one.
Like was it Fallout?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
I was going to say the Jetsons, but okay.
2 different types of futures there. Yeah. But
Yes.
I'd rather be with the Jetsons, I think. But I digress. Another photo shared, catching the side of one of the screens. You can see that they were testing out. And of course, you've got the V4 chargers up front here. You can see them along the wall underneath the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Live action Jetsons. There we go.
And then in through the circle door, you can see the pedestal stools.
Would really tie it together as if that circle door rolled away instead of opening it.
I wonder if it does. Yeah,
that would be cool.
But I love the light this thing is giving off.
Yeah.
Looks really cool with the above white light shining down onto the sidewalk out front.
I hope that shade of blue is visible for people with glasses at night.
Yeah, sometimes that blue is a tough color to make out, isn't it?
Yeah, my favorite is the America's glasses or whatever. They have this obnoxious blue that you cannot read if you need glasses at night.
They're just rubbing it in your face. That's what they're doing.
It doesn't look as much like a spaceship or a flying saucer as it did during construction.
Correct. Yeah. I wonder if it's the night or if it's. I gotta believe that these red lights are programmable to be whatever color they want them to be, or to change as time goes along. And another shot on the other side to see the. Is it the other screen or the same screen? I think it's the same screen. It's just that they went on the other side of the restaurant to take this photo.
Mm. If they really can change the lights, I hope they do something to coordinate with the vehicle light shows.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Theme it for the events, orange, Halloween, and
Of course, they'll have to alert LAX that the entire parking lot is going into a light show, including the building.
Yeah.
That could be a hazard.
Get a permit for sure.
And notice the Tesla vehicles in here for this particular night. So there's a number of them that were here. I'm not sure if this is. I doubt it's a photo shoot. Maybe it is. Maybe they were making a video about the opening, or they're getting some B-roll footage to use maybe in the future, because there is a number of different models sitting here. And then Harry provided us a quick little video.
So cool.
Got some people on the inside. Or maybe walking out front. Walking out front, not inside that I can see. And then Harry also provided us with a few more close-up shots with the Teacup Ride, apparently. And of course, that's not going to help your food stay down if those things are spinning. But no, it's not a Disney ride. I imagine those are completely stationary, but they're nice little pods that you get into for having a round table in front of you. And he's got a couple more. What does that say? SHY? Shy PAN? Shy Pan?
I have no idea.
Not sure what that means. If that is indeed Shy Pan. It could be that I need glasses.
God.
And then a shot of some outdoor seating on the ground floor. And again, just like the upper floor, they've got these round canvas sun blockers, which is probably going to be useful in the sunny Los Angeles area. In this case, it's West Hollywood.
They need to get impersonators to get all the characters from that famous diner painting. What's it called? Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Right.
James Dean, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis. Who else is in that one? Humphrey Bogart. Yeah. That would be cool. Remake that shot.
Exactly. And then you can see that Harry got these photos all seemed close to the same time because the 3 vehicles are still out front. The Cybertruck, and another 3. But that is indeed the other screen. So there are 2 screens, and there's that now famous apartment building that's behind that screen, where residents are probably now used to be seeing darkness 24/7 as they sit behind the middle of that screen.
Yeah, the unlucky residents or lucky residents who had their rent reduced. I'm not sure which.
Darkness discount.
So, another neat feature is that staggered ceiling in there. That looks kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
With the waves in it almost.
Yeah. That's trippy. I want to see that in person. It's hard to tell from the photo.
And it appears like, as we've seen in the daylight, that this is stainless steel wrap on the outside. Yeah, this is going to have a lot of different light looks to it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Daytime, nighttime, all over the board. But it appears that it's getting, much closer. So they're in. It looks like the inside is basically done from these photos. Not sure if the cooking equipment is in there or tested, or maybe it's in the process of that happening. But this is very cool. And of course, this is on Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood, or greater Los Angeles, I guess. But yeah, that is looking good. And again, getting closer to release or start of business. And that's going to be interesting. How it's going to be announced? Are they going to throw some sort of an event? Or is it going to be just have a soft opening? Typically, restaurants have a soft opening and then a formal opening. They want to get the servers and everything familiar with the equipment, the layout, and then they'll start and have a formal one later. I'm not sure if they will follow this trend here at Tesla or not. But as Patrick had said, I'd really like to see this in person as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and since they didn't have a big robotaxi launch event, I mean, like party and everything, they've got to do something this summer.
Yeah, it's it will be interesting to see if they do that. If it'll be they're going to televise something, or they're going to put it up on X, or not. But as we said, they kind of missed the boat, I think, on the cyber or the robotaxi opening. But they could have got some more publicity if they had done that. But for whatever reason, they didn't. Yeah,
and I didn't hear much about it in the media. Certainly, the Tesla community was a big deal. But it's more than just that, and it's not just about the potential revenue or whatever. It's about a new stage in transportation. Anyway, well, we'll see how it scales and when it finally starts getting noticed.
Yeah. And when it comes to this location, will it? This is going to draw people. Like this.
Oh, yeah.
This will draw the Tesla community immediately.
Mm-hmm.
This will be probably one of the hottest tickets to attend this. You're going to have, weekends are going to be packed, and especially in a major metropolitan area like Greater Los Angeles, there's going to be don't expect to get there and get your order rather quickly as this sits, because this place is going to be mobbed for quite some time, I believe.
Yeah. And luckily, all the Tesla takedown protests are kind of over, because otherwise this would have been a target.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, speaking of, depending on who your insurance company is, because those vandals were deemed terrorists, some people's insurance company requires a either terrorism or war waiver. Should you find yourself a torturing victim, your insurance company might wash their hands of it. So do give them a call and find out.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's not good, and I mean, I get that there's an opportunity to exploit people there, but I mean, that was just stupid and a little low. I mean, those waivers and such were meant for people who actually park their car outside of a war zone, not, oh, hey, we don't have to pay for your Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of gouging, I think. That's
Mm-hmm.
But it's legal because they're literally declared terrorists. So, yeah.
No, not good there for sure. Not good. Well, let's see what else we got here. I lost my place to get the news that I had printed. Nothing like live TV. Get that going again. Here we go.
Is this the casting story?
Yes. Patrick, you saw this photo, which of course we will grab and share this one as well. There's gonna be a lot of sharing in this particular show. Let's grab that photo.
Yep, the drone army is always out there. Joe Tegmeyer buzzing around Giga Texas, bringing us cool shots of what's new and happening there.
Exactly.
And this time he captured a bunch of castings, and they look like they could be for the CyberCab.
Yeah, but are they? Patrick had mentioned this actually as well, that there is a lot of outdoor storage going on. And Joe had indicated that these are castings for the CyberCab.
Looks like 180 fronts and 180 rears is what he counted.
So you've got, this is not in the thousands, obviously, but pushing these out and starting to store them around the outskirts of Giga Texas. And there is a question of what was your comment, Patrick?
Yeah, so we've talked about on the show how I think they could be using CyberCab as a Trojan horse for the Model Next, or some people call it the Model 2. And so they haven't done an unveil of that vehicle, but we know that they've been working on it for quite a long time. We've been hearing about the $25,000 car. And so it's also the vehicle that they will probably have the shortest time from unveil to production. And that means you have to do stuff like this to test out the equipment, to get it in place, to do all you can before you unveil it. So if it would be cool if this is Model Next. I know that's a low probability, but I still have my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Like they'd have said that they've pushed it back. These two models that they said that they have pushed it back in the calendar for the unveil. But you're right. They're going to have to do a lot of this in secret in order to not let the speculation out that a vehicle is about to be introduced, because of course that's going to hurt the sale of their 3NYs. Because some people will just put purchasing on hold because they wanted to see the new model before they actually bought whatever they're going to buy after seeing what's available at that time. And of course, with any new model, you're going to have an issue of spooling it up, getting enough volume out there to supply the masses. And that's going to put a bit of a dent in the of people purchasing. So best to delay that, as Patrick said, right to the last moment, and then get at least continue with some normal quarters before the pandemonium is released when that car is shown to be available.
Right. We saw this recently with the Model Y refresh, that in Q1, their volume was significantly lower. And that's not a whole lot of the changes from the old Y to the new Y. And yet they still had, months. Their Q1 production volume was probably, 60% or maybe half of a normal quarter, what it could have been. Yep. So now you think about a whole new vehicle that you have to ramp up. That's got to take a lot longer to get going.
Well, not just that, but you have to get the people trained. You have to get all the support equipment in. Because look at the recall that we had on the Model 3 and Model Y recently about bolts torqued incorrectly. I have a little more insight about how they could be skipped when the car is watching the torque values of itself get put together. So imagine processes like that are also going to need to be tuned in on the new thing. So,
right.
Absolutely.
They have a little bit of a benefit over others in that they don't have to worry about their cars, gassing out the employees. So they can hide them indoors for a little while. As Patrick said, they can mule them up looking like something else. And they've got a couple of advantages with being the new thing. But it would also make sense that even if they delay the car, to not actually delay the launch. They don't delay the actual start of production, the pilots, and all of that, to make sure that they have a sufficient supply on day one. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they roll that out. Again, Tesla's never been able to keep a big secret, except for the CyberCab. They actually did come up with a pretty good. They kept that pretty quiet. We didn't see a lot of advanced stuff with that. We saw the weird looking Chevy S10 in banana yellow show up one day, and that was obviously a disguise. But this is something that they're getting better at, and hopefully they'll be able to really knock it out of the park when it comes to this launch. Because again, if you're releasing a vehicle that's cheaper than all the other vehicles that you have, it's going to open up a new market, but also the people that are at the level that could or would typically afford a 3 or a Y, they may put their purchase on hold just to see this new model and to get their heads wrapped around of what it's capable of doing.
Yeah, right. They've been good at it when they want to be. Like the Cybertruck concept, that one we didn't see until it hit the stage, and we were like, wow. And then
it was shocking when it rolled out on the stage. I was like, what? No way!
Yeah. Roadster Gen 2, that was a surprise. CyberCab, like you said, we didn't see the final, but the CyberCab itself was a surprise mostly, other than the piece in the book. And I have a feeling that this will be somewhat of a surprise as well.
I have to say, though, that it's not just the surprise. When you mentioned the Cybertruck, we had people waiting 5 years until it's released. So certainly we don't want that. We don't want them to unveil something and then there's a extended delay.
Right. So that one was 2 surprises.
Yeah.
One was that shocking prototype, and then there was the where's the rest of it? Production launch.
So they got to nail 2 things with these forward launches, or especially with this perceived cheaper car.
Yes. If they can say, hey, pull an Apple and be like, hey, we call it iPhone, It's available Tuesday.
Yes, that's what they need to do. Unlike the Roadster, where if I had a deposit down on it, I'd be pretty angry by now.
Yeah, that would be, if you'd invested it, that would have been millions.
Yeah, it's a lot of money to have in Tesla's pocket, and all you keep hearing is, "Oh, it's the cherry on top of the sundae, on top of the meal," and it's like, okay,
and it'll fly.
I can't hear that one more time without killing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that it won't, but you drop 250 grand, 500 grand, and like would have been 2 to 5 million, and you keep hearing that. You're right. Oh, hey, that's not enough to see.
It's gotta be painful for some people to hear it, for sure.
Yeah.
Next, oh yes, this was kind of cool. The Tesla universe actually got a couple photos of some new Tesla Supercharger Flags that we've covered in the past. So let's just grab a photo here. Here's the Twitter X account. Whoops, that's not it. Here it is.
JT, that was we had raw reactions on that one. I was like, what are we looking at here?
So China got a new print put on one of their, which again looks classic Chinese for sure. Old style mist and mountains with the iconic bridge that you see in Asia all the time for an old scene, but no indication as to whether or not this is a certain number of superchargers. Typically, there's a number attached to it.
Yeah, some kind of milestone, like number 2,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever it is. Yeah,
right. But this one does not seem to have it, and it wasn't indicated in the follow-up information that I had saw some people talking about it. So not sure why or what the particular reason is for this one. If you know in the comments, let us know.
Yeah.
I figured if it was the plaque was late, they would just not put the wrap on it till then. But maybe they shifted the site deployments and the wrap was already scheduled.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But again, have not seen any of these wraps come over to North America yet.
Not the cool looking ones.
No.
Yeah.
But actually, Casey, do you know of a wrap that's here besides the, what was it, the 50,000th one, or
50,000? And I think we had one like in Hawaii or Alaska, right?
Oh, did we?
I don't think there's an Alaska one. No.
No. Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't.
Yeah, there should be one for every state. That would be cool.
Yeah. And UK celebrating their 2,000th stall.
There we go.
So got the Union Jack on this particular one. And again, there's the notation of a number or something at the bottom center. So
yeah, there you go. Let's say 2,000.
Most of them, in fact, almost all of them have that type of notation on them to signify
you know what, though?
What the special occasion is.
They can't really do that for China because they also have Taiwan. So in order to appease both countries that call themselves China, you can't really mush them all together. And you can't call them apart either. So maybe that's why it doesn't have a number on it.
Maybe that would be something.
I mean, that would be why they chose an image that instead of some flag, but they could still put the number on.
Right, but then if you say this is the number 6,000 in China, which China?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I do know this handy hashtag that we can click on that can show us what America got. See if we got any after the 50K.
Yep, we put a hashtag on the X account called Supercharger Flag.
Yeah.
And you click on that, and it links to all the other ones that we've spotted over time.
Yeah.
You've got Finland at 250th. Chile with their first.
Cool.
There you go. Congrats.
And there is France with their
Vive la France.
3,000th. And of course, we've got
Norway and Sweden.
Norway and Sweden.
Yeah.
at the IKEA parking lot, of course, with the flag.
Yep. Even IKEA colored flag. Haha. Other way around. That's funny.
I don't remember this one.
Saudi Arabia, their first one.
Okay, that's right. I do remember it now.
And Denmark, their 500th. And over in Japan, this was kind of
right?
the two of them were put in the same parking lot. One that Tesla reached their 60,000th supercharger, which is the gray one, and then 600 in Japan specifically with the origami on it.
Yeah, and then we had that fun beach theme one.
Australia beach volleyball team has decorated this one. And that is their 100th in Australia. And what was this one? Austria 500 stalls.
Nice. I think we need to go back and redo some of ours. Like, hey, this was number 5 and number 500.
Yeah, there'd be a lot of milestones immediately. What would be cool would be, of course, the first one. Maybe they could signify it, unless, of course, if it's at a location that is no longer available, like Hawthorne.
Yeah, there's Hawthorne was number 1 or number 2, and then you had the ones in the Northeast. Remember, they had the situation with Jersey pulling them out, so some of the early East Coast ones are long gone too.
So it would be, but certainly there are some milestones that they could put up, and as Patrick said, maybe they should do a state theme, at least one for each state, each province. Be kind of cool.
Even better if they like open it up to like even non-Tesla people and just like have a vote, represent your state, and then get extra votes in the car. That would be a sales technique, something. I don't know.
A design contest to design your
Especially if you've got a bad flag. But if you've got a fun flag, then it's like, the flag's definitely going on there.
There's a lot of bad flags.
There's a lot of bad flags.
There are some bad flags out there for sure. Maybe they just defer to the state beside them then, and they don't get one.
No, that's why you have someone use their own creativity. Yeah, you can be inspired by the other stuff in the state. You don't have to use the flag.
Bird, state flower, our most famous attraction, our state meal, anything.
Yeah. Or just a cool design with the state colors or the flag colors and the new design. Yeah.
Or the scene from the seal, but without the letters.
Right.
That would work. Yep.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to read a flag.
Virginia might not be a good one to put their scene on the Supercharger.
So here's another story. This one's not as uplifting, but Tesla is facing some downward pressure on its premium lineup of vehicles. And of course, we know that Tesla, when they report their figures, they lump the S, the X, and Cybertruck, and I believe Semi together into one package release to show the sales numbers for those quarters. And this past quarter and the quarter before it, we've seen this downward trend that has really pretty well halved in amount of sales. And actually, I've got a little graphic that I can share with that.
I mean, it's not like we should be surprised by this. The front man was claiming austerity before his dude even won. And, in austerity, people don't buy premium or luxury goods. So, well, not as many people, obviously. And so with the S and X being more premium and the Cybertruck as well, and I wouldn't put the Semi in that same category, but since it's lumped in with them and it's not, fully on sale yet, this had to have been something that was on their minds, even though they didn't kind of prep us for it.
Yeah, so you can see back in 2024, a year ago, about 21,000 sales of the premium vehicles, 22, almost 23,000 in Q3, and 23.5 in Q4, and then after that, Q1 and 2 dramatic drop, 12,800, 10,000, almost 400 for the most recent. And of course, we don't know which models have dropped the most, but we can certainly speculate that Cybertruck is part of this group. And over the past little while, there's certainly been a drop in purchases of these vehicles, and Cybertruck would be, one of the leading contributors to that.
Yeah, this is the kind of drop that would get the S and X canned. Casey and I, we've had this ongoing discussion about should they stop making the S and X, and I've been arguing no way. There's no reason to stop it. They've got the lines going. They're not taking a bunch of R&D money, and they're flagship vehicles. And Casey's been making the point about the financials. Well, now if the numbers stay low like this, it might finally be the nail in their coffin.
Yeah, it also might be why the refresh was so light. We got new wheels. We got the cameras finally that we saw like years ago that they quickly undid, and then we got a new paint color, and the X got hardly any touch, and the S got slightly warmed over on the external.
Yeah,
nothing on the internal, but on the external labels.
Which is funny because you could see it either way. Like, okay, they're not selling a lot, so we don't want to spend a lot of R&D effort on redesigning it and retooling things and all of that because it would be expensive. But then you could also say the other way of, oh, sales are down. We really should revamp these and make them more appealing. So we should spend the money. So you could use it either way. I was really hoping they would take the Cybertruck foundation that has all the new cool stuff, 48-volt architecture, steer-by-wire, and redesign S and X on top of that. Yeah. And then those three would have a lot more shared components, and it would advance the technology 48-volt. That we want that to proliferate throughout the entire industry. And if Tesla doesn't proliferate it through their entire line, why would they expect Ford, GM, and others to start doing that? So
they 48 are, and then we only have one, or two, I guess. But I from what I understand from some of the engineers is that it did get touched, but it's looking like it was just to make it cheaper, maybe more robust. But that would have been the perfect opportunity, because the way I've described Cybertruck, whenever they try to sell me another car before I have any cash in hand, is I've called the model, the Cybertruck, I've called it a fat Model Y. It's more than that, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like the other two where you're getting something premium. Like the S, it's no mistaking it. It looks good. It's got nice bells and whistles, and then it should have the X doors all the way around. I'm not saying like the Falcon Wings. It should have power doors at every opening, not just the front. And then the single screen. I mean, I know they don't use the second screen to its best of its abilities, but the prototype they were hinting at whether or not it would or would not have it, and then they had the digital rearview mirror. So just make it push it a little more, the same way that they pulled just a little bit more on the long range rear-wheel drive. They could push a little more on the other two and make them more premium.
Well, I really expect to see a price reduction. When the Cybertruck was announced, they had the low end price. Do you remember what it was?
40, 60, and 80.
What was the cheapest one? 40,000. Yeah. So do they have a $40,000 version of it today?
They do not have any Cybertruck that's cheaper than the Model Y today.
Right. So yeah. So they certainly, if they want to boost sales of the Cybertruck, that's one where I think a price reduction would help. Whereas with the S and X, I have the opposite opinion. You need to make them more luxury and not try to make them cheaper, because you don't want to crowd into the 3 and Y space. You want to actually have those be your premium vehicles. And so you want to have the stuff that they're doing where you have free supercharging, free connectivity, but you pay a premium up front to get all of that stuff. Build
them cheaper, but make them feel more premium, and then raise the price. They they might have done something to build the cheaper part, and they certainly raised the price. But when you go to raise the price more than just like a market adjustment fee, you really need to kind of explain to people what they're getting for their extra money. Like either, hey, there's a massive part shortage, you can still get one, or hey, look at all the stuff we added for 2025.
Yeah.
But no, we just feel like raising it. It's a new color.
Yeah, I mean, like when I had an X, it had the carbon fiber details inside. It had the Alcantara. It was really nice.
Yeah,
And they don't feel like they have as much luxury as they used to.
yeah. I didn't realize your X was a PX like mine.
Now the issue is that I was hoping to overcome was that, as Casey quoted those numbers, I believe 69,000 is the current price of the lowest one that they're offering, or haven't offered yet. It is the cheapest price that you can get from the updated pricing when the vehicle was released. But if they were to get that price down, hopefully open up new markets and then increase the volume of trucks that are actually being deployed to customers, then you could turn this around. I just don't know if 69 grand is going to do it. Even if they were to take out some bells and whistles and get it down to that rock bottom price that they said, is $69,000 something that's going to propel the Cybertruck in more volume?
Yes, because you have to also look at the competition for full-size combustion trucks. They are all over that if you don't get the work truck edition.
So that's what they need to do, because you don't want to have a dwindling amount of the top tier trucks selling less and less and less. There's no winning in that. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where it's not worth doing. So you have to come up with a winning formula of what you can deploy at a lower price to open up new markets and to increase the volumes. Otherwise, you're going to be on the losing end of the stick as time goes along.
Right.
They could also come up with a real work truck trim and make it a little easier for people to know that they have a fleet program, or make their fleet program more accessible to smaller fleets, like to folks who do lawn care or local deliveries or that sort of thing. Small contractors.
Yeah.
So what would be different about a fleet vehicle?
I'm not sure how they can maybe make the rear wheel drive long range, but make it even cheaper.
Okay.
They took a lot out of that truck and didn't take a lot out of the price. It would actually be a pretty decent work truck, but
right.
Not worth what they charge for what people are going to be doing with it.
Yeah. They're going to have to do something, obviously you don't build a line or two and give up on this, but it is something that's going to be, again, this is downward pressure they're facing here. They're going to have to make some sort of an adjustment and try to turn this around.
Yep.
It'll help that, he's not in the news every day for reasons that are upsetting politics on both sides of the aisle. So that will help, but
what makes you think he's going to stay out of the news, Casey? What part of history makes you think that...
Staying out of the news part, or staying out of the news immediately with a kick me sign on the back?
One way to be a centralist: piss off both sides, and boom! Look, I'm back in the middle.
Yeah. He's back in politics again.
Oh man, yeah. Switching sides often is probably not going to help you. Probably not. You're just going to alienate. Again, I think the advice from all of us on this show would have been, Elon, stay in the middle of the road and don't deviate from that course when it comes to politics.
Yeah, like put your money where you want to put it, and have your own beliefs. But I don't know what the CEO of Nike wants, or what whoever replaced Mary Barra, if she's not there, wants. I don't know what Jim Farley wants, and it's probably better that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you say Mary Barra's been replaced?
I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while, so I figured she might have been replaced.
I don't think so. I might have heard, but maybe not.
Exactly. Next, wanted to talk about the jumbo supercharger that has opened up, or is I think it is open, but it's in Lost Hills, California. And who here has heard of Lost Hills previously? Not I. That's a small little hamlet on the I-5, about 45 miles outside of Bakersfield, apparently.
Do they have a freeway sign?
What's that?
If they have a freeway sign, that explains why it's like, oh, I've heard that name before.
Yeah, it would have a freeway sign for sure. But here's a shot from Tesla owner Silicon Valley as they drive by 168 stalls.
Good gracious.
And all with solar canopy. And on top of that,
10 megapacks.
That's right. It's off grid. So this particular supercharger could not get the power they required to this particular site. So what they did is they built their own local infrastructure to collect and house the energy. And that is fantastic.
Nice. Take that, big energy.
So yeah, I had to look at where this is, and it's about halfway between San Francisco and LA. So it's between the Bay Area and LA, which is going to be a lot of people driving back and forth between those two big portions of California. So it makes sense that they would have to. When you said 168 stalls, I was like, okay, that has to be a high traffic area.
Yeah. And again, impressive that they could build it off grid so it can collect energy, not just from the solar cells that are above the stalls. They've also have a large amount of land there where they've put up an array, multiple arrays, to collect the sun constantly. And of course, if you're in that I-5 corridor, you know that it's a sunny area. They're going to collect a lot of energy and put them into the megapacks, as Casey has mentioned. For storage. And then, of course, they can supplement some of the local utility where they can sip from that and, again, put it in the batteries, store it with the solar, and then you've got the ability that all of these cars that require it can come in and take from the battery packs and not be denting into the local utility and making them have brownouts depending on the number of cars that are there. They can have that shave peak off with their own mega packs and get the cars to charge without that.
I wouldn't be surprised to find out at some point in the future that they have a statistic that they put more into the grid than they take out of it at that location through the small pipe.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just looked, and this Lost Hills, Kettleman City, and Harris Ranch are all kind of in this same corridor together, and all three of those are big. So they already had two big ones, and now they're adding a third big one there.
That's right, the biggest of all. Actually, this is world's biggest at 168. But I think Harris Ranch had over 100 or like 102 or something.
It was 98.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I remember we were talking about this with Tony Schaefer way back then. We're like, why not just two more?
Yeah, and then they expanded one or more of those recently as well. So.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of superchargers in that corridor, and of course that of course is not a surprise as the volume goes up, and of course they've opened some of those superchargers, of course, to other vehicles, a lot of other vehicles now. Over this past year, they've been introducing those other vehicles to the network as adapters have come online for those other car companies.
I think that this would actually, if it is off grid, for them to, or mostly off grid, to the point where they're net negative, I think this would be something they need to announce from the rooftops, because you still got those people saying, "Oh, it's the grid can't handle it, this, that, and the other." So if you can say, not only can the grid handle it, we're actually feeding the grid here, and then not only that, it's not just Tesla cars, it's all Max cars and people on trips over 100 stations.
Absolutely, that would certainly be something to trumpet. But
Don't say Trump.
Oops. But it is something that they should promote for sure.
Shout from the rooftops. There you go.
You saw me searching for adjectives. I was like, oh, I'm not going to
well, I think we're going to wrap it at that point. I want to thank everyone for joining us today. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press the subscribe button. Helps us out immensely. And let's go to Casey with the fireworks for the first shout out.
Catch us over on our express shows at Monday and Friday, but Friday first. And then catch us over on youtube.com at Casey Green / youtube.com at Casey Green or x.com at G-Custom on Sunday for a Let's Chat with Casey and Friends special. Well, I guess it's just the regular weekly show. It's not we're planning a special this week. So
very good, very good. Patrick, what do you got for us?
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find this at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. And if you want to know how many cars I think Tesla will make in the second half of this year, you can go check it out. That's the story that's on there this week, carswithcords.net.
All right. Very good. Very good. I want to thank Lee Moon and Derek and Hockey Day, GT24, Budget, who joined us as well. Derek, I said Derek already, gets 2 shout-outs today. And everyone else, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate you being there. And you can also follow us through the week on our X account, which is at the Tesla Life. So feel free to connect there and see what's happening in between shows. Thanks so much, everyone. Have yourself a good evening.
Stay positive, test negative.